It made me shiver, and I about made up my mind to pray and see if I couldn't try to quit being the kind of boy I was to be better. So I kneeled down, but the words wouldn't come. Why wouldn't they? It weren't no use to try and hide it from him, nor from me neither. I knowed very well why they wouldn't come. It was because my heart weren't right. It was because I weren't square. It was because I was playing double. I was letting on to give up sin, but away inside of me I was holding on to the biggest one of all. I was trying to make my mouth say I would do the right thing and the clean thing, and go and write that slave's owner and tell where he was. But deep down in me I knowed it was a lie, and he knowed it. You can't pray a lie. I found that out. So I was full of trouble, full as I could be, and I didn't know what to do. At last I had an idea, and I says, I'll go write the letter, and then see if I can pray. Why, it was astonishing the way I felt, as light as a feather, right straight off, and my troubles all gone. So I got a piece of paper and pencil, all glad and excited, and sat down and wrote, Miss Watson, your runaway slave Jim is down here 2 miles below Pikesville, and Mr. Phelps has got him, and he will give him up for the reward if you send. Huck Finn. I felt good and all washed clean of sin for the first time I had ever felt so in my life, and I knowed I could pray now. But I didn't do it straight off, but laid the paper down and sat there thinking how good it was all this happened. So, and how near I come to being lost and going to hell. And went on thinking, and got to thinking over our trip down the river, and I see Jim before me all the time, in the day and in the nighttime, sometimes moonlight, sometimes storms, and we are floating along, talking, singing, and laughing. But somehow I couldn't seem to strike no places to harden me against him, but only the other kind. I'd see him standing my watch on top of his, instead of calling me, so I could go on sleeping, and see him how glad he was when I come back out of the fog, and when I come him again in the swamp, up there where the feud was, and such times, and we would always call me honey and pet me, and do everything he could think of me, and how good he always was. And at last I struck the time I saved him by telling the men we had smallpox aboard, and he was so grateful. And I said I was the best friend old Jim ever had in the world, and the only one he's got now. And then I happened to look around and see that paper. It was a closed place. I took it up and held it in my hand. I was a-trembling because I'd got to decide forever betwixt two things, and I knowed it. I studied a minute, sort of holding my breath, and then I says to myself,
All right then, I'll go to hell.